Hey everybody, Corn-Fed Lady here, and today I want to give you some updates on both of our gardens. So first, I'm going to walk you around our vegetable garden, and then I'm going to take you up front and show you the berry garden. So come along and join me. Okay, so just for reference, we did plant this garden about 2 months ago. And first up here is our sweet corn patch. And you can see it's already tasseled out. And the hairs are already starting to come in on the corns. Now the way this works is the pollen will drop from these tassels down to the hairs on the corns. So they're self-pollinating. And then once those hairs receive the pollen, they will pollinate each of the kernels on the corn cob. Okay, just past the corn patch here is our pepper rows. So we've got 2 separate rows of peppers. We've got some jalapenos, some bell peppers, some poblanos, and some more jalapenos. And so far, the only ones I've really seen coming in are the bell peppers. I don't know if you can see that, but there are a couple of bell peppers in here. But I haven't, and there's some baby ones, but I haven't really seen any of the poblanos or the jalapenos yet. So I'll have to keep you updated. Now there are a couple of blossom flowers, and of course that's where the pepper would appear after these bees pollinate that are buzzing around my head here. Okay, just past the peppers we have 2 rows of tomatoes. This first row is mostly all hybrids. And you can see these are the big slicing tomatoes that we'll use on sandwiches or in salads. They're really good fresh. These dark purple ones are kind of cool. This is a variety called Queen of the Night, and it turns this dark purple on top almost black. And on bottom it starts off green, but then it eventually turns orange. And it looks like there's one on the other side starting to turn. Let me show you. But again, these are just more varieties of hybrid slicing tomatoes, and you can see they're doing quite well. We have bundles of 4 or 5 here and there throughout the plants. So we should get, 20 to 30 tomatoes off each one easy. And of course, once you're picking them, they'll continue producing. Now I have been spending quite a bit of time, an hour or 2 each week, pruning and training these to the fence, just so that it's not a big mess laying on the ground and rotting and collecting bugs and pests. So you can see I've trimmed all these lower leaves, and I've thinned the plants down to just 2 or 3 main branches each. Yeah, here's one of those Queen of the Nights starting to turn. So you can see it's a yellowish color. It's not quite orange yet, but it will turn the color of like a regular tomato on bottom there. But it'll stay this purplish black on top. And this next row over is also tomatoes. These are the heirloom varieties. So we've got some Roma tomatoes in here. These are good for making sauce, like spaghetti sauce. They also work really good for any kind of tomato-based sauce like chili sauce, barbecue sauce. So we've got plenty of those Romas going. Some of them are getting a decent size. And once they get a little bit bigger, we'll be able to start picking those. And I will show you guys how to sauce tomatoes at some point this year. Now right next to the saucing Romas, we have some large red cherry tomatoes. And these are just really good for snacking on fresh. They're another heirloom variety. They do grow quite a few tomatoes on them, on each one. So if you're looking for one that's very productive, just for snacking on, I like this large red cherry tomato. Okay, just past the tomatoes, we have our cucumbers. And I have already started harvesting some of these. Let's see if we can find any that are ready. Here we go. So we've got 2 varieties in here. This is the Chicago pickling, and then we also have a variety called Marketmore 76, and here's one of those. So they're a little bit longer and skinnier, and the other ones are kind of shorter and fatter. And again, I've been spending time each week training these to the trellis and cutting back any of the leads that are kind of hanging out down into the tarp area. So like this one, for example, it's kind of hanging down. It either needs to get trained up to the top here, which I'm going to do, or if it didn't have a spot to go, then it would simply get cut off and thrown into the compost pile right there. But you can see that one's staying up there, so I'm gonna let it. Okay, moving on from the cucumbers, the next row is beans. Now we thought we had just bush beans, which is what all these are, but this one here on the end started growing these vines, which told me that it's a pole bean and it needs to grow up a pole because it vines. So I put in kind of this makeshift 3-stick trellis, and it seems to be doing just fine. The plant's growing up nice and strong, and hopefully these beans start producing sometime soon, because I really enjoy fresh green beans. Now this row just behind the beans was supposed to be blue curled Scotch kale, but it's not. And we've talked to the seed supplier, and they've said that their best guess for what this might be is some sort of red mustard, which is a spicy mustard. So we're gonna let this grow a little bit more, and we're gonna see if we can't make spicy mustard out of this later. Depending on whether that's a failure or a success, we may or may not share that. Okay, just beyond the mystery row, we have 2 rows of carrots, and we grow the scarlet nantes. They're a little bit redder orange. They're very sweet. They do grow to a decent size, and you can see I grow them pretty thick in there. I don't worry about thinning them. The ones on the outer edge here will get larger. The ones that are buried in the middle will tend to grow a little smaller, and that's okay because we like using the smaller ones for freeze drying, and the larger ones are the ones we eat fresh. And then after the carrots, we have our seasoning herb row. First up in here is fennel. It's a grayish kind of plant. It looks a bit ferny, and if you rub it around and smell it, it smells like black licorice. Now, when we use this, we're gonna put that in with our ground pig meat to make sausage. So that's the primary flavoring in sausage, fennel. And in the same row, along with this fennel, we also have some dill. And you can see the dill's already flowering. These heads are looking huge and beautiful. And of course, they smell like dill, like you would use in a pickle situation. And actually, we are going to use this dill when we go to pickle our cucumbers this year. So we'll be using fresh dill this year instead of dill seeds that we buy from the store like we did in previous years. These are both very fragrant, so we've had to fight off quite a few birds and rabbits, but they're doing well now. And in this next row here, we have onions. It needs weeded out really badly, but you can see there are onions growing down the middle here. This row seems to have the most trouble with weeds, and it's the hardest weed because the onions are just kind of here and there throughout the row. And then out here on the end, we actually have a row of watermelons that we're letting vine and grow out into the pasture area. And some of these have already started producing fruit. Let's see. Yep, here's one. And that is the Crimson Sweet. It gets to be a very large watermelon. It's very sweet and juicy. It is my favorite by far, just because it's so sweet. Here's another one. It's a little bit bigger. You can see this one's bigger than my hand already. So they're going. And here's a smaller one. This is the other variety that we're growing in here. It's called Sugar Baby. And these ones stay this dark green color. They don't get stripes on them like this other one. But these ones stay nice and small, so they fit in your fridge real easy. Whereas these ones get quite large, so they'd be better for something like if you're throwing a 4th of July party or something like that. Okay, and then just on the side of our garden here, we have a bed of potatoes. And this is a mixture of Kennebec White and Yukon Gold. We like those 2 varieties because they're both good for baking and frying. and those should be getting ready to pull pretty soon. I always wait until these plants start to turn yellow and flop over and kind of look like they're dying before I pull up the potatoes. So they've already flowered. They're probably getting ready to be done. And when they are, I'll make sure to make a potato harvest video for you guys. Okay, so that's about it for this veggie garden. I'm gonna take you up front next and show you how our berry garden is doing. Come on. All right, take you guys in here and show you what's going on in the berry garden. So first up, we've got our raspberry rows right here and here. They've been producing quite a bit, and we've been harvesting quite a bit. That goes for the raspberries and for the blackberries down on the other end of these two rows. So I like to make a mixed berry jam that's half blackberries and half raspberries. And that way you get a little bit of the tartness from the blackberries, but you also get some of the sweetness from the raspberries. Plus, you got to use a lot of sugar when you're making jam, so you don't want it too sweet. So we always add the blackberries in for the little bit of tartness. Now we do have a couple of cranberry bushes in here, but I wouldn't really call them bushes at this point. More like plants that are just kind of barely trying to hold on. So we'll have to give you an update and see if we ever have any success with these cranberry plants. And this third row over here has currants, which I have been picking like crazy. I think they're just about all gone now. There's just a few left here and there. But currants are also pretty tart. They're really good though, if you like that kind of thing, like cranberries or tart blackberries. These are really good too, these currants, but they're about done for the year. And further on in that same bed, we have blueberries, which are also done producing for the year. We did get quite a bit out of them, and it looks like they could use weeding quite a bit again too. Here's one. But you can see we've been growing these blueberries and picking them for the last month or so. Now we haven't been able to get enough of these yet to make anything like jam out of them, so we've just been eating them fresh. And then on the end here, on this fence railing, we have grapevines growing. And you can see they are definitely starting to produce grapes. Here and there and everywhere by the bundles and bundles and oodles and doodles, and there's just tons of them. And there's actually two plants, that's just one. And then there's this other one over here. And it has tons and tons of grape bundles on it too. So we're looking to maybe get to try some grapes for the first time this year off of this vine that we just planted. So I have to give you guys an update video when these get ripened. Well, that's all I really have to share with you guys today. Now make sure that you're subscribed to our channel so that when we do the harvests of all these gardens, you won't miss out. Y'all have a good one. Bye.